noise in your head. You need to calm down that noise. You have a lot of noise. So I would really know that in my mind, I have a lot of conflict. Maybe my thoughts are running here and there and there and there. So
that means that conflict may not necessarily refer to a violent situation.
Yes.
But even so much baggage can be related to conflict.
Yes. So you have so much baggage within yourself. So if you are a person and you fail to harmonize your mind, you have failed to harmonize peace within yourself, how are you going to live with the people around you?
Because you can't give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have. So it takes time for you as an individual. First, create harmony within yourself. Then you will be in position to give out. You can never give out what you do not have. And also as a young person, as people, even in business or even in a workplace, when you have challenges with your boss, going ahead to talk behind your boss or going ahead to show some authority is not how you do things. How do you go and have a conversation and come to an understanding? Because personally, if you come attacking me, that is something different. But if you come and tell, you know what, Linda, I have this issue, can we sit together? And then we come to a common understanding. Yes, at some point, the person might not try to understand or something of the sort, but there always has to be that one person who is willing to compromise. And if you're bigger than someone, you'll always take it in yourself to compromise, because you don't have to let other people define your character. If they behave in a certain way, that is them. You are stronger than them. You can be better than them. Focus on your character and focus on being the best version of yourself possible. So we need to learn to calm down the mind around ourselves. And yes, we understand that maybe with the situation, it has been tense with the young people and everything. And I like what I was listening to Nelson Mandela sometime. They're asking him between communism and capitalism. And he had a very good answer for the guy. He told the guy, I do not care whether the cat is black or white, as long as the cat does the job. I don't care whether the cat is black or white, as long as the cat does the job. And one of my mentors earlier told me, Linda, if you want to be a person of influence, always look for ways of working in harmony with what is already there. Don't try to pull strings. He said, if you're going to work with someone, you don't have to like them. You don't have to necessarily agree with them and the way they do things. But if you can work with them, if they're willing to work with you, you can work with them.
Here you've brought in the word mentor, coach towards. We are speaking to our youth on how best you can discover the potentials in you, because we believe each one of us has got God-given potentials. One of my friends was telling me that actually we are unfortunate who are born in this generation, you know, when land, our parents came at a very good time. But then I told him, when I read the Bible, there's a purpose why Linda was born to rise up in this generation, and not maybe in the 19th century. So I said, you're perfectly prepared for this generation. You've talked about mentors and coaches. What is their relevancy in the whole story of discovering your potentials, your abilities, behavior change, mindset, and managing emotions?
People usually say that in this generation where we're in, the two most important teachers that you need, because they say that it's good to tell the difference between a fake teacher and a real teacher. There's someone called a coach, and then there's someone called a mentor. Now, what I always tell people is that success leaves clues. If you want to be good at anything, find role models. It could be one or two people. If you want to be good at a relationship, find someone who is very good in that relationship. Sit them down and ask them, how do you do it? And then see what you can emulate. You obviously don't copy everything. You make certain adjustments. But at least there's someone you look up to. When it comes to, if you want to be a certain type of lawyer, do you have that lawyer that you look up to? What are their values? How do they carry themselves? What are their beliefs? Take time to study them. What kind of literature do they read? Take time to study them. So instead of doing trial and error, role models are a shortcut to success. I do have my own role models, and these are the people, I see what they have done. I'm not a follower, I'm a learner. I don't get obsessed like the way people get attached to pastors. I don't do that with my role models. I know you're my role model. You do this the right way, I'll copy some things, but not everything, because I don't want to be a copycat. You get? So role models, those are mentors, they make the work very easy. Now that comes in a coach. A coach, I don't have to be well conversant with you, with your profession of being a lawyer. But as a coach, I see what you don't see. You see, for a good football team to perform, talk about Tottenham, my team, and also other thing is, those teams that perform well have good coaches. What are the coaches the best footballers? No. But a coach can see what other people do not see. And by the way, your coach wants you to be better. Because the more results a coach creates, that means more referrals for the coach. So your coach is not jealous of you like your friends. A friend of yours will see you doing a mistake, but then they will not correct you. Your coach will tell you, you know what, Linda? You need to do A, B, C, D. Or you need to work around this area. As a coach, I don't pretend that I know too much. Because my client is the boss. You know about yourself more than I know about you. So my role is to listen to you, to see how to work with you and know where the loopholes are. What are the opportunities for you? And obviously as a coach, we get connected to different people. I get to know, yes, now you're doing this. Maybe I can recommend you to this person. And the biggest thing about having a coach is you have someone to account to. Before I close a session with a client, I usually give them an assignment. So before we meet the next time, you need to present to me your assignment. If the assignment was you're going to drop 50 job applications, come to me when you have dropped that. If you haven't, go back and first drop those applications. In life, we usually don't have people to account to, or we don't have people intentionally waiting for you to come to them to account to them. But here you're getting someone to professionally do that for you and remind you and see where are you improving, why do you need changes. So a coach really comes in handy.
Well, a mentor, a role model, and a coach. Do you have a coach? Do you have a role model? This is a very interesting session. I don't know if one was to pay for how much it would cost, but really I believe a youth out there, you're learning so much. I'm learning, actually. I'm learning a lot from Linda here, and I've been privileged to have hosted Linda. Linda, also, I was reading your article. I think it was in the Daily Monitor. Recently, I read an article of yours, and you talked about personal branding as something also very, very important. And as you look at how best we can empower the youth in this country to better discover their potentials, let's also handle the element of branding.
Now, for me, branding, I really take it so key because I probably missed out on a lot of opportunities because I didn't brand myself. Now, before I even go deeper into branding, when you go into a market to buy something, you see nowadays people buy everything online. A lot of things, before even someone goes to buy something, they first Google about it online. People want to first see the facts about it. But let's even now narrow it down. When you walk in a supermarket, what products take your attention? What products do you say that, you know what, let me buy this? These are products that you see being advertised all the time. Those are products that are visible. You go for quality. You definitely go for quality. And then you also look at the packaging. You look at the packaging. Now, as a young person, I've applied for opportunities, be it maybe studies. Nowadays, even when you're applying for studying opportunities online, they want you to attach your social media accounts. They want to know about your biography. They want to know your core values. They want to know your beliefs. They want to know what is unique about you. You get. So if you don't know yourself, if you've not brought yourself out there, and then let me say you've applied for, even nowadays when you applying for grants, or if you want to capital for your business, they're going to ask you for all this. Your media account. So ask yourself, what are you posting on your social media? Is it favoring you? Because whether you choose to post and remain in Kamoli or not, you're branding yourself. So you have to pick. Do I intentionally go out there and brand myself, or do I remain in Kamoli and miss out on opportunities?
You just reminded me of a lady. She was applying for a procurement job, and she had all the qualifications. Well, in the interview, answering questions, she was the best. So one person asked for the social media handle. This time not to look at how many followers you have, but actually what she was posting. And there was a nasty image of her at some beach, and some people were taking seashore. And so the person says, but how can you be a procurement officer Here you are in groups taking shisha, here you're almost half naked, for the image of this company. We therefore cannot, because many people will be following your social media platforms. And I was like, oh, so she lost out just because of how she was using social media. So of late, many youth are very active, so active. But yes, the opportunity you have to be on social media. How do you brand yourself? Is it in one way or the other that can be an encumbrancy to your success, or is it a candle to your light?
So branding is very fundamental, and it's also good to show people the work that you're doing. Because before someone trusts you with money to do something, they need to know that you've been doing something. You get? But how are they going to know that you've been doing something if you've not been in position to show it? Even the mere comments that people comment about whatever you post also lets people know the kind of person that you are. You get? Because your friends know you. So usually they comment below whatever you post. It's always a reflection of who you are. So sometimes also you can also use your social media to look out for opportunities in line with what you're doing. The big thing with personal branding is when you brand yourself well. If my friends nowadays, they know what I do. There are certain opportunities, they'll just text me and they're like, Linda, this is for you. But imagine I was there and then I kept quiet with it. Would they know when to give me an opportunity? No, they would not know. So personal branding is fundamental. That's why I take almost 2 weeks teaching people personal branding, but I don't just teach you how to go out there. I start with your inner self. What are your values? Because you need to write your CV, you need to go and express yourself in an interview. But nowadays they ask you values. Do people even know how to find out their values? But I'm a coach, I help you to find out your values based on your experience, your past, etc. etc. You need to know what are your unique skills. Not everyone knows their unique skills, by the way.
Does everyone have unique skills?
Everyone has unique skills.
Oh.
And if you combine a certain skill set of yours, you come to do something great. For example, I was working at the airport, a flight dispatcher, licensed, very few in the country. When I got licensed, we were only 44 in the country. Very highly demanding, everyone wants a like thingy. So one time they called me to my high school, Seta High, to go and make a presentation. And many people had always told me, Linda, you're a good speaker, you can speak well. But I'd never taken it like something serious. But when I talk to someone, they really get inspired. When I talk to someone, they get the message. So I had time to go and talk. I think I talked like for only 5 minutes. And my former teacher called me aside and told me, what are you doing? And I told him what I'm doing. And he told me, you're good at this. Go and really build it. I didn't take him for granted. I went, I looked for classes, I attended classes, I started to practice speaking. I went ahead and did courses around human capital among modern applied psychology, NLP, anything that can understand a human being. Neuroscience, everything that can understand a human being as trying to do that. So we have different skill sets. Sometimes our friends see in us, but sometimes we are not intentional in asking. Now in the personal branding, I teach people how to intentionally ask. Actually, I have a game called Self-Discovery. By the time you finish to play that game, you will know yourself from A up to Z to the dot. So that game is really good. So it helps you to know, okay, what can I write a book about? What is that idea I can talk about for 5 minutes non-stop? That those unique things that people have. So everyone has potential, because God put in every one of us something unique.
I really believe someone watching us was right from the beginning of this show, and just a few minutes to the end of the show, you're really learning. One good thing is, all is not lost. All is not lost. No matter where you feel you've fallen deep, if you discover yourself, if you work on your emotions, if you work on your mindset, if you work on your behavior, and you critically think, all is not lost. Because many youth today have lost hope. Mm-hmm. The biggest challenge, one person told me, this is not abusive actually. When someone tells you you're hopeless, they are not abusing you. They're simply saying that you've lost faith in believing that you still can. And here is Linda Abeja, who comes to tell you, yes, all is not lost. We can get you back. We can help you. So problems are an opportunity. I love that. Problems are an opportunity. God may move you from one situation to another just to steer your thinking. Linda, time is not so much on our side as I look around, but let's also understand, how did you come up with this knowledge? Very knowledgeable. How did you come to discover yourself that you had this potential?
Well, I already told you an example of my teacher, but back in 2017, I think, no, back in 2016, I was whining like any other youth out there. I whined a lot, made a lot of noise, made bad choices, bad behaviors, the alcohol, and I did everything that a young person would do, blaming the government, blaming our parents, blaming everyone but ourselves. So I met a guy who ended up being a coach to me, and he introduced me. He told me, you know what, Linda, I had a lot of how they call, I didn't have self-esteem, and I didn't have confidence in myself. I didn't know what I was capable of, because, you know, growing up, you hear a lot of negativity, and if you don't have people who are strong around you to tell you, you know what, there's this thing that is good about you, you will never know. So my coach took time to coach me. He showed me how other women behave, how they speak, how do they dress up, how do they present themselves. So he kept on teaching me things slowly by slowly, and I started to discover myself. And I started seeing the benefits. I started to make more sales, my life started to change, and then I told myself, if reading is so important, then I'm going to commit myself to lifetime reading. Because the more I read, the more I educate myself. So for me, I read at least a book a week. Even with my team, we do every day in the morning, we get books that trigger our minds. Those are the books that we read around how to behave, everything. That's how we trigger ourselves. So I read a lot, and then I take courses online. I educate, every opportunity I get for educating myself, I take it. And I taught myself speed reading. I took classes on speed reading so that I can read as fast as I can and also retain information. Because whenever you read, you tap into that person's literature. If I read a book by, like, let me say, Robert Kiyosaki, I tap into his way of thinking. I tap into his experience. If I read a book by Richard Branson, like Fuck It, Let's Do It, I tap into his way of thinking. I tap into his experience. I tap into his knowledge. If I read a book by Tony Robbins, I also tap into his way of thinking. If I read a book by Obama, I tap into his way of thinking. Most of us young people, we think that reading stops after school. But that is just the beginning.
Actually, one said if you want to hide information from an African, most are Ugandan, just put in the book.
But you see, ideas come from reading other people's ideas. You'll never get an idea if you limit yourself to the information you know. If you want more ideas, you need to expose yourself and read more literature. And, you know, online has the best teachers. Let me say, platforms like Udemy, you're going to find the teachers are professionals who have practiced that field for over 15 years or 20 years. It's not someone who is just teaching you classroom knowledge. This is someone who has been practicing. And this is a person who is teaching you from that practice to tell you this is it. Now, if I learn from over 10 professionals who are in my line of business, that is gold. That is gold. So information is gold, because information triggers you to think. Information brings ideas. So information is good.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for the time that you've given us this morning. Information triggers your mind to think. I must say, I've been triggered to think. I've been triggered to look at life in another perspective. And I also want to believe that actually you who's been watching this telecast, this program, Good Morning Uganda Extra, you've been triggered to think. Most importantly is that now you have hope. That no matter the world surrounding you, capacity is in you to change that situation. Let me have your final remarks.
All I would love to say is that there is great potential out there, and there is great potential out there, and we, the young people, everything is in our hands. We are many, like really, really many. Let us not wait for the government to give us things. Let us not wait for our parents to give us things. Yes, if you start, your parents can come and support you. But your parents are not going to think for you. And the government cannot provide jobs for everyone. If we look at countries like America, if we look at countries that have made it big, it is people like me and other young people who came up and said, you know what, let us create businesses. Bill Gates created Microsoft when he was only 19. Look about Mark Zuckerberg when he was only 23. He came up with Facebook. And these are the people who are paying taxes for that country and for that nation. So we shouldn't wait for things to be given to us. Sometimes we need to also try in our small capacity to do something, to give back. As they say, don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask, what can you do for your country?
Very lovely. Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. I've really enjoyed myself, and I really hope you've enjoyed yourself, but learned so much that actually you need to get out of the comfort zone. And actually, this not just be sweet talk. Very sometimes we attend conferences, motivational speaker comes around, and it all ends at enjoying the sweetness, listening to these life-changing stories, but ensure you practice what you've had. 3 elements I've learned. How to manage your emotions is really very important. How do you manage your emotions? How to manage your behavior. How do you behave? How to manage or change your mindset. Have a lovely day. God bless you as you head into transformation. Good morning, Uganda Extra. Keep it on UBC TV.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.